Yo, people, welcome back to DR Sports. We've got another transfer roundup for you today. We're joined by Laurie, we've got Fuad, and we've got Nikki on the panel. How's everybody doing today?
I'm good, man.
Good?
All right,
yeah? You should be. You've made a sign-in at last, at long last. We're going to get into it. West Ham are finally getting some business done, but we've got to start off with the dinner plate award, the community crown champions.
First one of many.
Arsenal. Listen, talk to me. How are you feeling? I mean, listen, everybody jokes and laughs about the trophy, and I saw Robbie was mentioning as well. Well, is it? We're going to talk about it because I know he was trying to say if it was changed to the Super Cup, maybe it would be more valued, etc. What's your take on it? You've won it now. So how did it feel? Any adrenaline
You know what?
rush?
It was, listen, we'd rather win it than not win it. And the fact that you beat Man City in doing so makes it a little bit more noteworthy. Mm-hmm. But listen, I'm not getting carried away. I'm an old school guy. It is what it is. But listen, if we'd have lost, everyone would have been on our case. No. We won it, and people are still on our case. So, it is what it is.
All I questioned was before the game was, I remember saying, like, yo, if a team has won the league, a team has won the FA Cup.
I saw your tweet.
Those are the two teams that played each other. If you
I do accept
for that year, it should almost just be like a given to Man City.
Do you think Man City should just field their 22 players and just play each other?
No, I do like
because they did play their B team in the FA Cup.
May as well,
I like it as a season opener. I do like
a
curtain raiser. Yeah, curtain raiser. Yeah, because it's
it's a trailer, isn't it?
It's a trailer for what's to come, and it's normally two real good teams. But
what do you mean normally?
Oh, no.
But every now and then, like you get some like Portsmouth win the FA Cup, and they're going to play in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So normally it's two of the biggest clubs in the country.
Yeah.
And I like it as a season opener. I do like it, but it's not a trophy. It's a friendly.
You could argue though that it should have been, strictly speaking, Man City versus Man United. Because Man United won the Carabao Cup.
I was going to say that.
We said that the other day. Yeah.
If the FA Cup, if they've won the FA Cup and the League Cup, I said the replacement should be the League Cup winners. If anything,
someone make a good point on the video that we done the other day. It's because it's the FA. The FA run the FA Cup and the FA won the Premier League, but they don't run the League Cup.
The League Cup is separate.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Listen, I've always said.
But listen,
a little bit of an extra.
We're happy to win it. It is what
you
it
take what you can get.
Exactly.
I'll be happy.
And like I said, the fact that we beat City, which is, let's face it, been a bogey team for Arsenal for many years now.
First time
made it a little bit,
Pep, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think maybe is it the second? I don't know.
No, I think that's the first time he's beat.
I think it's the first time, yeah.
And I was going to say, do you make anything of the curse where they say only Man City have won the league after winning the Community Shield?
Yeah.
So is it maybe, as you said, a sign of things to come?
It could well be. I mean, listen, look at the reaction of when City scored their first goal. Kyle Walker, Pep, and all the rest of it, right? And look at the reaction when we won the thing, And now people are saying, it didn't matter, City, of course they were bothered, man. They wanted to win it.
I think the one thing just on the game that I will say, I think City dominated for large parts of it, but I think you have to give credit to Arsenal for kind of pulling it back last minute like that. And I think the substitutions in Trossard when he came on made a massive difference. Even for City, I think Foden and KDB
made a big difference when he came on.
Made massive difference.
I was quite surprised to see that when De Bruyne came on, Haaland was coming off, because if anything, it's what Haaland needed was De Bruyne for them to be a bit more direct and actually find him.
I think they struggled to hold up the ball in the second half when Ortega would go along with Arsenal's press from the front. But I thought the debutants, to be fair, I was quite impressed with. Timber
was
for
serious.
me was the one I said on the ball, off the ball, the fact that he's playing out of position at left back on your debut.
And do you know he's been doing that all of the pre-season?
Yeah.
But
the thing is initially we was told, he's coming in as naturally he's a centre back,
and he might play right back as well.
But then now you're adding in the left. So
it's interesting because everyone's talking about Declan Rice, and I get it, myself included. I was talking about Declan Rice. Shout out to Declan Rice. But Timber, he's been. If you chat to the Arsenal fans who watched all the pre-season games, he's been without doubt the standout,
I think with Rice as well, I think it was just one of those games that kind of run of the mill for him, to be fair. I don't think it was anything outstanding.
No,
but
he did his thing.
When you did your job type of thing, do you know what I mean? Go in there, battle hard. But I think for that kind of price, there is going to be more wanted from.
Well, it's interesting you should say that.
It's only the first game.
Exactly, and I was saying to Nikki, we were talking off here just before we come on the show, that with Declan Rice, people have to understand the role he's been asked to play within the team and what his role means within a team. He's not a highlight reels type of player that you're going to snip several high. Oh, look at this, you know what I mean? But we're pleased with what he's done so far.
What did you make of Havertz, Davey?
I think there's a lot of copium going on. with Havertz. Obviously, people are talking about a lot of copium. There's like, the link-up play was good and it's a good start. And I'm looking at him thinking to myself, we all know that when Jesus is fit, that Havertz is not starting as a striker. Yeah. He's not doing anything better than Jesus in that position. No. I think even Trossard, can play that position. We've seen
I would argue Eddie
as well, at times can be a good presence in the box. He's a fox in the box. Yeah. And then you look at that left midfield and you look at the channel there for him to play, and it's not making sense for him to be in the starting 11 for Arsenal's strongest team. There's still Zinchenko to come back. Rice is obviously in there. He cost 105 million. He has to start by definition. And then you've got Partey as well, who didn't leave, and he was really good. So
with having Jesus out and engaged, I think yesterday was almost like the perfect opportunity to let's get all the new signings out there. Let's get the debuts kind of out of the way. But I think with some of them, like Timber and Declan Rice, I think they took their moments. I think with Havertz, he had 2 of them chances in the first half. If you just took one of them, that's kind of the pressure's off. I've got kind of 5-6 games to kind of really find my feet. But when it's just a link up and stuff like that, I thought it was decent. His hold up play and things like that actually surprised me. But then it's that end product, that killer bit, and that's what always at Chelsea was almost.
And it's easy to say after Trossard gets that deflected goal and Arsenal go on to win, but if Arsenal don't win that, then you're looking back at Havertz and you're thinking, why didn't you take one of those chances? Why are you scuffing your opportunities? This super chat says, remember that Arsenal started last season as a rocket but ended like a dog with a broken front leg. Arsenal needs to win a title, deep run in the Champions League. Also, it's not the first time that he's beaten Pep, it's the second time people.
Shall I tell you why they don't have to win the title? Because a certain team called Man City, aka the best team in the world, they're not just going to roll over and let us win the title.
When you see Man City, you're talking about their reaction that they were annoyed to lose. If anything, that's a bad thing because they just won the treble. Why do they care about a community shield? That just tells me that they're tapped in their heads.
I said this yesterday, right? Someone. I wound a few people up on Twitter yesterday after the win, and someone said to me, "Oh, it's one game, one trophy for us." I said, "Well, first off, I don't think it's a trophy." I said, "In the last game he played for us, he actually won a trophy." I said, "But I think you've just kicked the hornet's nest, to be honest."
I'm telling you, did you see Pep's press conference afterwards?
Yes.
We lost 3 in a row because we won 3 Premier League. I said, this guy, this year he's entered his villain arc.
He was doing it already,
but just kicked, as he said, the hornets.
No, but you know what? What I would say is bring that on. Bring it on.
Yeah,
we need to announce ourselves, right, and say, listen, we are here. And that was the good thing about us winning yesterday. Not so much all the peripheral stuff. Is it a trophy? Is it not? The fact is, like I said earlier, beating Man City to win that is a statement in a line. You know what I mean? So
you got to
bring it on.
That's what we want. We
want them to be upset.
I don't want them to be father and son, and
I want this Arteta Pep thing to go,
exactly.
to switch from niceties, respectful to. You know what? There's actually hatred and a bit of
I made that
spice in these
I made
games.
that point yesterday in the watch song. I said I want there to be a burgeoning rivalry between us and City. Maybe it's not going to be at quite the intense level of a Tottenham or maybe even a Man United, but we want that, man.
But you want to get to that level, right? Because in the sort of mid to late 90s, early 2000s, it was you and United, right?
Exactly.
You built that rivalry because they was going.
And I can't lie, Liverpool and City kind of messed it up over the last couple of years with the. They were rivals, but they were.
You've got the best fullback.
No, you've got the best fullback.
No,
you've got the best winger. It's like, come on, man, guys.
It was a great game. You remember when we played each other and it was 2-2? What a game that was! It was
all this
the best game in the league.
Business. Nah, man. Some pizza's thrown again. Man.
What I would say is they've got the platter now. They've got to put the trophy on top of the platter.
There you go.
I like that.
There you go. I like that.
That's a great way of saying it. And before we move on to transfer, because there is transfer news as well, Mac is saying that Arsenal fans are trying to claim this as a trophy from a friendly as good as an Audi Cup. Jumped on United for winning an actual domestic trophy. Now look, Arsenal always perform when there's no pressure. There's a lot of digs.
It's not the same as the Audi Cup. It was a showpiece occasion. It's the curtain raiser for the season.
Is it the same?
No.
Of course
it's not the same. It's not the same as the Emirates Cup, the Audi Cup. It's a level above that.
It's a level above.
But
I think because both teams, as I say, they're two good sides and they want to get the season off to a good start. Right? So they want to make it competitive. He's even seen pre-season. The pre-season games are getting more and more competitive with these cups. So you got that season opener. Yeah, it's a competitive game. I thought it was a good game as well.
It was definitely chess. It was definitely a chess match. Yeah,
it wasn't like riveting end-to-end stuff.
No,
it was a good
but
tactical battle between two good teams.
Yeah. Let's get into the transfer news, because there was a here we go before the show started for Edson Alvarez for West Ham, finally getting the first deal done. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, because you guys took a long time to get your first deal done in the window, and I was actually starting to think to myself, are they even aware that the window is open? But you have now finally got the DM in.
There's beef in the boardroom, apparently.
There's beef in the boardroom. David Moyes as well. There's rumours saying that he might be disgruntled with the transfer dealings as well.
Walk out.
Would you?
Yes, I would.
Wait, do you want him to be in charge next season? What would have been your preference?
You didn't want him in charge this season.
Okay.
I didn't want him. But he's there.
Yeah.
So you've got to deal with it.
Even after the Conference League.
But if there's all of this conflict and they're blocking each other's transfer moves, he would be the one I moved out. I'll be honest, he would be the one I moved out, because he's got a year left on his deal. His brand of football is, it's old now. It's not
stagnated.
Yeah, stagnated brand of football.
Won you a trophy though.
He won,
but that would have been a nice note to sign out.
Yeah, but he's got 1 year left on his deal. He's trying to sign all of these players. Alvarez is a I don't know much about him. I heard he can't pass the football, which is going to be terrible.
Well, you've been looking at McTominay and you've been looking at Gallagher and certain type of profile of it.
But he wants to sign these players. I was just saying to Mr. Lowell there,
Maguire as well.
He doesn't care about their age, because he's got a year left. He's not looking to leave a legacy. He's looking to get past this season and leave on a high. If that's the way he wants to and I'm worried. I'm really worried that it's taken this long. How long we got left of the window? 3 weeks.
Just 3 weeks.
You
still need a striker.
We've just sold Skamaka. Which is, and we've played him in every pre-season game. So they must not have known he was leaving.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just they took 18 months to choose him.
And they got that wrong, because he didn't suit the style of play whatsoever. Antonio was saying it on a podcast that it's not that he's a bad player. It's just for the way that Moyes wants to play, really direct. It's not the way Skamaka
before end of last season, and he said he's a quality.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he does better for a better team.
He's absolute top class. He just doesn't fit Moyes' system.
What are the expectations for your club this season? Is it just kind of stay up?
I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. If Moyes stays and
this
kind of transfer market, I don't know kind of what West Ham fans can even hope for. Because we've been doing some predictions over the past couple of weeks, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, the top 8 and 9 now is pretty much like gridlock, shut in.
Aston Villa.
Aston Villa,
Moyes got 1 year left.
In there. Brighton as well. You're looking at their squad.
Is Mark Noble doing his badges?
He just left his position recently.
He was was he not technical director at one point?
He was the
sporting director.
Whatever this geezer's doing.
If he's doing his badges, he'll probably be.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's that interested in that sort of thing.
Really?
I think he just mills around the changing room now. You know what I mean? Just giving everyone a nod and a wink.
Mopping up.
I don't know.
As an ambassador.
But this is the thing. This is the confusing thing. I'm a West Ham fan. I'm looking at this stuff every day. I don't know what they're doing.
Scored a goal at the weekend. Maybe get him in the team again.
He was good.
Yeah,
he was good.
He was good.
Not as good as Seedorf though.
Seedorf was class.
Just a cut above.
Crazy goal.
He looked like
class is very much permanent. Yeah, but I don't know. It feels like West Ham, they desperately need a striker, don't they? I mean, Antonio is not getting any younger.
Got a young kid there. And I've got a feeling that he's going to be. They're going to rely on him a little bit. Mubama.
Okay.
Under 18s last year. If you look at we've got a good under 18s.
You won the Youth Cup?
Yeah, we've got a good under 18 side, and there was a couple of them sort of milling around the first team. But this Mubama has been. If you watch the kids, he's the cut above the rest. You can see he's like, if anyone's going to break through, it will be him. I'd like to see him given a little bit of a chance next season, to be honest with you. And I'll still get rid of Ings or Antonio and get another big striker.
Keep forgetting about Ings, But you can't rely upon him to stay fit.
They're championship level players. So
I saw Iheanacho on the bench for Leicester actually in their game, and Daka as well.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
Jesus, Daka would be one.
If these players don't leave, then
So do you say you get rid of Ings?
Yeah, I'd get rid of either Antonio or Ings. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely not.
I could see why Antonio might be good to move on at this stage because he's done it.
He was going to go Saudi. He was going to go Saudi. I think that move fell through. So.
I think he's at the point where he's just going to retire at West Ham, isn't he?
He likes a bit of cheddar as well. He likes his money.
Well, let's move on to another striker, Harry Kane. He wants his future sorted out this week after continuous London meetings that don't seem to either happen or go anywhere, one way or another. He's enjoying the training regime and the football philosophy under the new head coach, Ange. I'm not going to butcher his name at this current moment, but I'll do it soon. More than you can believe. He's happy at Tottenham. Are you happy with Harry Kane staying at Tottenham, or do you want to cash in? I mean,
the ideal scenario would be if he's definitely not going to sign a new deal to cash in on him. I've said even the Bayern Munich bid that was 86 million pounds for me is enough to kind of reinvest back into the squad. But if at the same time you're not going to say no to Harry Kane staying, are you? I mean, he's probably the best player we've ever produced, and I think what he can provide for this team. You just saw it in, even though it was a pre-season friendly yesterday, just the creativity, the goals,
got 4
goals, the excitement to potentially link up with Maddison.
Yeah.
If Son can kick back into gear, Kulusevski can really rise the levels. You look at that kind of
even
quartet.
Pedro Porro as well, really good going forward.
But you look at that kind of quartet attacking wise, and you think, you know what, that could be kind of exciting, especially if you've got a coach who's willing to play into that as well. I'd be more than happy to kind of see him as a farewell tour, if you like. But
I would imagine Postecoglou's desperate for him to stay.
Oh, 100%.
Of course,
Harry Kane is a tone setter.
Make or break for a season, really, in terms 100%. Of targets.
And it would almost be like the perfect kind of give us a platform to build on for the following season. Because we've got no European football this year. Harry Kane, 1 game a week. Come on, man. That's a 30-goal guaranteed in my eyes. So this saga, I've said, the reports have been basically if it's not sorted out by the first game of the season, Harry Kane's pretty much set to stay. And I've always said I don't think Bayern Munich are his number 1 choice.
It's a strange.
But
this year.
There's not really anybody else to come in now in the Premier League. Now that Man United have got Højlund, who else is really there?
He's possibly thinking the Bayern move, is it really, like he goes and wins a couple of Bundesliga, is it really going to
doesn't do anything. Much? It doesn't do much for his legacy, that's for sure.
So for me, unless he goes there and wins the Champions League guaranteed, which is
that's
not
a
guaranteed,
big one.
It's not. I think he's thinking, why don't I just sign off on a high at Spurs, give Postecoglou 1 year run, and then next year the world is my oyster, essentially. He can go Saudi and 200 million if he likes. PSG might take a punt on him. Madrid on a free. I don't know how many teams will say no.
But I think for Tottenham, and I don't know if you guys will.
It's a loss for us for sure.
I think it will also. It's a loss for Tottenham to let him go on a free to any team in potentially Premier League. You never know. But if you let him go to Bayern Munich, then at least you're getting him out of the division, and he's not a direct threat to you next season. So
they'd be crazy to walk away from £100 million though, because he's got to be replaced.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to be replaced.
He's got to be replaced regardless.
Let's be honest, he should have been replaced last year.
This is the lack of planning that
I said they should have sold him last year. Obviously, Man City maybe didn't come with the offer that
we done with Rice exactly what you should have done with Kane. It's 2 years left on his deal. You're going to get the maximum amount of money. You need to get someone to replace him. You need that money to replace them. Although we've not spent it, but I think Spurs would have. They should. I don't get why they're digging their heels in. Maybe.
Can I say from a purely selfish point of view, and I know some Arsenal fans may not like this, but if he does go Bayern or one of those clubs, I'd be kind of sorry to see him go because I would like to see him stay in the Premier League. I do actually admire his talents.
Listen, I hear
I'd love to see him
break
stay.
the record and all sorts as well, but I hear what you're saying. In terms of maybe having let him go last summer would have been the best option. I just don't think we got the bid even to 100. I think they offered us 100 mil. And I'm sorry, but Harry Kane for 100 million when you just paid 100 million for Jack Grealish.
You have to get to the point where you've got to replace him.
I don't think Harry Kane was worth 100 million. I think he was definitely worth more than that. I think this year is where I'm like, I don't know. Then he was 28, turning 29. But now it's like, I feel like 100 mil is almost a bit excessive. I'm like, especially the 100 million pounds. I'm like, they've offered you 100 million euros, 85, 86 million. I said anything over 80, you should be kind of looking at it saying, let's take it. We can sign a top tier centre back, maybe move Son into the middle, give Richarlison a run, because I've said I think the reason why we're digging our heels in even more this year is we're looking at the replacements out there. Højlund going to United. Kolo Muani being quoted for 90 million, Osimhen being quoted for 120. So these are
there's a striker at Porto that's 31, Iran international. Taremi, indeed. He's been smacking in the goals. He's consistent out there in the Portuguese league. Maybe as a stopgap.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd rather honestly play Son through the middle, so have Richarlison as a backup. I don't see any realistic targets. If you're talking dream one signing, Evan Ferguson.
Of course. But do you know what it's like to deal with Brighton?
And that's the thing. So
he is.
Yeah, I've heard you mention his name before.
Yeah, that for me, in terms of profile-wise, if we're looking for a like-for-like for Harry Kane, that's the closest we're going to get.
I know it's not like
that ain't happening.
No
chance.
Not a dream. I think he's at the level now. He's above us.
Last year, though.
I think Gonzalo Ramos, before he'd gone to PSG, even last year, I think Napoli wouldn't have let him go, I don't think.
No, probably not. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, well, one of the reasons he wants his future sorted is because of personal and family reasons. His wife is due to give birth in a couple of weeks, so you definitely would want it maybe sorted.
Listen, man, he don't want his kids learning German. Das Verein. Listen, that's a tough language. Baby years. Come on, man. Keep him in England, bruv.
He ain't even got his head English.
Matt Turner will undergo a medical as well for Forest. That's done, and here we go. Obviously, that's just opening up a spot
wish
for
him
Raya.
well. Wish him well.
To get done. Is Raya basically done, isn't it?
Yeah, more or less. I am quite excited to see Raya coming. In fact, I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, Ramsdale, big fan favourite. You'll be looking over his shoulder.
Made some big saves in the penalty shootout there.
Yeah, he did. But Raya is a very good keeper. So, and listen, it's good to have in those key positions competition. That's what enhances a team. So listen, man. Although I do think, and we may be coming to it later, that Arsenal will be best served with looking at that striking position.
Oh, Laurie, I wish I could have your ease of mind, man. You know when they've done their business,
Balogun,
then they just browse it again.
Balogun, you need a striker. He wasn't even in the squad for the game against Man City.
It seems to me, and this is my own personal thoughts. My thoughts are not the thoughts of Arsenal Football Club or even AFTV or whatever. It would appear that there's been a falling out between Arteta and Balogun, because I can't understand why we've not had a look at him. I mean, we spoke earlier about.
But maybe it's not. It's the commitment. Maybe it's the commitment, isn't it? Maybe he's not committed to the fight.
I think that Balogun's probably. Balogun's let it be known, maybe in uncertain terms. You never know.
He wants to be a starter.
He wants to, or at least wants an opportunity. He said, "Listen, I bagged 21 goals in the League One. Only Mbappe's got more than me. What are you saying, man? Come on. You told me to go away, prove myself. I've done that. Yeah. Now I'll come back.
And they've set the asking price he thinks too high as well. It's just kind of pushed away into Milan.
When you think about what the Man City boys who we've linked to, I forget his name. I can't forget his name.
Borges, who went to Ajax.
Yeah, he went to Ajax for 19 million. Yeah. It was 14 million. I think they agreed with us, and we was umming and ahhing about whether we could offer him an opportunity. And I think he's just seen Ajax come in and thought, well, I'm going to play there. I think that would be a more sensible way to go, because French League is the French League. Mm-hmm. He's played 2 games for Arsenal. Yeah, it's difficult to justify paying £50 million. I would go down the route if I was Arteta and he really wants out. Just speak to the boy and just say, look, we're going to let you go, but we want to put a clause in the contract where we could buy you back if you're going to leave them in the future. We'd like an opportunity to bring you back to the club if you would, and do it that way. You know what I mean? That's the way Man City have been doing things. And I think asking 50 million quid for a geese that's played 2 games for your club.
Yeah. I think that's a good shout. Kind of sell him even. If you like,
even a sell-on clause as well.
But then, a sell-on clause, a buyback clause.
Because if he's that good, he's not going to maybe stay at that. He's going to
I find it difficult to comprehend why he's not been given a chance, given that we do have obvious...
Especially, with Arsenal fans, I've heard a few Arsenal fans say, maybe we should look at another striker. I don't know if they can rely on Havertz or Jesus. But then I look at Nketiah and Balogun not really being given the chances. And I'm like...
But when you see what Saliba done when he came back from that league, it's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, but I think with I was actually of the mind that I think Balogun should be kept and used, because you want to see what you've got before you go.
Most fans think that
the striker window is not particularly appetizing to be like, let's just get rid of a young striker who smacked in over 20 goals and go and get someone else. But I think there's the mindset and the mentality that Arteta's looking at, and he's done this before with other players that have qualities. Like, if you're not willing to kind of buy into the whole group kind of ethic, which is everybody competes for their spot and it's not about you, it's about the team, and it's about Arsenal, and he's very passionate about this is Arsenal. Don't think that this is not ironic.
The ironic thing about it is.
So I got to respect it, to be honest, because he's being consistent, I think.
Okay, but let's look at it in reverse, right? If there was a striker out there called Balogun, bagged 21 goals or whatever it is in League One, but people out there say you weren't linked Arsenal player, they would say, "Oh, you need to go look at that guy Balogun." Yeah, you know what I mean? So.
I think it must be difficult for him as well when you see, Jesus is the number one in that position, and then you got Eddie knocking about, and then you think, right, well, at least I'm going to be third. And then all of a sudden they go and buy Kai Havertz, and then he can play there as well. And then you think, well, I'm fourth down the pecking order. How many opportunities are you going to get?
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know where they'd be great? I think the pair of them. I think if Nketiah went to you guys at West Ham, and then if Balogun went to Crystal Palace.
Oh, Balogun at Crystal Palace with Alicia potentially. Eze.
You see the vision.
Oh, the vision is wonderful. Franca from Brazil.
Yeah.
I like Eddie, though.
I'm telling you.
Lord.
I've always said I think Eddie would do well at West Ham. West Ham, look, we're looking at him, I think, a year ago.
I think Eddie, listen, Eddie's not a top striker, but I think Eddie's a
Premier League striker.
He's definitely a Premier League striker.
Good enough to be.
He's very good.
I don't think they'll ever deal with us again, though.
Listen, you knew what you were getting into when you dealt with West Ham for their captain. Now, I'm not hearing that for me. You knew the price was going to be high. They always said 100 million, so it is what it is.
No, listen, I don't blame them.
100%. Joao Felix potentially could be on his way to Al Hilal as well. Talk to me about Joao Felix, boys, because this guy's career has just gone left, very left. He started off at Benfica. I remember when he was banging them in, number 79 shirt, Europa League, showing us skills. People were talking about potentially being a generational talent. He goes to Atletico, which for me was just the wrong move, really bad move. Agents. This is why you need financial agents and football agents. And then ever since then, it's just...
I don't buy that. I don't know. I don't buy that. I hear it's a wrong move sometimes stylistically. But I feel like when you've been there a certain number of years, you've got to buy into the style. You chose the move. You chose a long-term contract. This is a decision you made at some point. Yeah. And I just feel like, in all honesty, I feel like Joao Felix is just an epitome of almost like the modern-day footballer with zero kind of like dog about them. Like, he's got all the ability, but he doesn't want to, I feel like, tap into kind of that
dig down deep.
The South American side.
Like you saw that at Chelsea when he was on loan last year. You just kind of felt like, what is he? He's a false nine. Is he an attacking mid? Is he a wide player? You kind of don't know what his best role is. And
do you think he's like a cage football kind of player?
Listen, for me, he's a luxury player. I'll be honest with you. For me, he's a luxury player. I don't think many teams would want to build their teams around him. And you look at kind of how his talent was spoken about 2 or 3 years ago. It was Mbappe, Haaland, Joao Felix, and Kai Havertz. Those names are being mentioned.
Sounds like he needs to go to PSG then.
But then it's kind of, if they always say, if talent doesn't work hard, this is what you kind of get. And I'm sorry, but at his age, Al Hilal, listen, Mbappe, we see it's a big money seeking opportunity. For Joao Felix, it's a lack of opportunities from the other big clubs because he should be having offers on his door.
I see lots from him at Chelsea last year. Sometimes I see big talent there.
But this is the thing.
There is talent there. The ability always shines.
We were interested.
I look at the history. I was a big fan of Atletico Madrid strikers, and I look at how many haven't worked out. Maybe Nico Jackson, Joao Felix.
Nico Jackson was at Villarreal. Was he at Atletico?
Sorry, not Nico Jackson. Jackson Martinez.
Martinez. Wow, you really pulled him out. I didn't remember. From Porto.
There's very few and far that have flopped. But usually, all the others, no matter what,
Aguero, Falcao, Diego Costa,
old Suarez is able to go there and still tap in. So there's no reason, if this guy's got all of that ability, come on, man. And especially when you're in a team full of dogs who are willing to do all the running for you. There's no way you can't succeed. So for me, I'm disappointed that he hasn't gone back and said, you know what? Let me pull my finger out and actually make it right here.
There were links with Aston Villa as well, and they seem to have gone quiet as well.
Disappointing. I'm sorry, that's disappointing.
He was kind of putting his neck out on the line for Barcelona, I remember as well. He's like, actually, I'd love to go there. Yeah, you guys in January, was it January you guys were interested?
A lot of fans, myself included, were a bit disappointed when that didn't happen.
He's been training in a West Ham kit.
He has, he was training. He was randomly. I remember that.
Wow.
He probably saw that you guys had needed a forward and thought, let me try my luck.
Yeah, probably.
But do you have any regrets about not getting him now that you see how things are maybe panned out?
It's difficult to say. I mean, there's similar things with the Mudryk. I personally think Mudryk is a very good player, but you speak to a lot of Arsenal fans. I'm so glad that didn't work out. Look at him now. It's you were saying, it's that symbiotic relationship between a player and a club. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it does work. So I don't
know. Back on the Kane with the super chat here. Bayern would be a huge move for him. Lewandowski would have got the Ballon d'Or in 2020 if it wasn't for COVID. Bayern are that type of club. Big achievements and big ambitions. Yeah, if you're going for a Champions League, I think that's the play. But I think if you're going for a league, it's just a league in the long list of many. It's not really.
Yeah,
you haven't changed it in a row. Yeah, you haven't. Even when they shouldn't have won it last year, Dortmund still gave it to them. Do you know what I'm saying? They give them the players, they give them the league, they give them everything.
That being said, you're talking about a guy that's not won anything, diddly squat. So you might look at it and think,
diddly squat.
Pull that one out. That was chestnut.
Took that one out from there.
Took it right out of the archives. That one.
But you guys get what I'm saying.
I get you 100%.
He needs to win something, man.
No, I agree.
The Audi Cup won't suffice.
Tiger Cup.
Barcelona have submitted a joint loan offer to Manchester City for the Portuguese pair. Cancelo and Bernardo Silva are willing to buy later permanently. Why do Barcelona go with these weird offers? Do you think that they could take Bernardo Silva on loan, one of the best players in the league, and say, actually, we'll pay you later? This is not a phone contract. This is not. It's not an iPhone.
From where they were, they've built a good team. But there's no longevity in that club.
No,
that's why they're making these weird offers.
They are.
It's on the never. You know, we'll take them on loan. We'll pay you later, because they know very soon that they're not going to be able to pay anyone.
They couldn't pay De Jong.
Listen.
If you go through the weird Barcelona transfers of previous years, name some that come to mind. If I tell you what are the most inexcusably
the forward. Who's the forward?
Griezmann, Dembele, Coutinho.
Dembele's one that
Braithwaite.
Braithwaite.
That's it. Yeah.
Andre Gomez. There's so many. Serginho Dest.
Yeah.
There's been so many bad ones. Aubameyang, to be fair,
that was a good signing for them, but it come from left field though, didn't it?
My God,
don't you think
Lenglet,
so?
Yes, yeah.
Bro, the list is
Why
endless.
are they still allowed to do this when they owed that midfielder so much money? I don't understand it.
Do you know what it is? They're such a footballing institution that's if they
so they just allow people to knock people now, do they?
They're willing to kind of turn a blind eye to a lot of BS.
And to be fair to them, they did win the title last year.
Ferran Torres, someone just said.
Ferran Torres, another
Marcus Alonso, someone's been mentioned as well.
No,
he was a free transfer, to be fair. Nelson
Still weird,
Semedo. There's
Adama Traore on loan. Bellerin.
Crazy.
Some brilliant shouts in this chat.
Weird transfers that we've seen over the year.
Memphis Depay. Wow, they've got a list.
The Pjanic and Arthur Melo swap.
Yes, very dodgy. Very, very dodgy.
Fraudulence of the highest order is what I call that. Oh, man.
Yeah, there's some brilliant shouts in this chat. Brilliant, guys.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Garcia.
Dimitro Chigrinsky.
Malcolm, who just went to Saudi.
China, Saudi as well, wasn't it? Yeah. Al Hilal, I think.
Yeah, I think so. What? Wow. Arthur Melo.
A lot of names. Paulinho. Crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. Luke de Jong's been mentioned as well. I think the list is endless, honestly, for that club. When you're bringing up these names, it's actually quite incredible. More on Kylian Mbappe as well. He's going to train away from the main group. PSG obviously just coming back today from their pre-season tour in Japan and South Korea. And Mbappe will train with the Loft training group. They had a different term for it previously, I'm pretty sure, but that's
the Insufferables or something. I can't remember. They had a funny tale. The Loft is where they train, but they had a wicked nickname. I can't remember.
And that's I think including the likes of Draxler, etc. In that group. But what do you guys foresee happening with Kylian Mbappe? Because it's kind of like the biggest story of the last couple of summers is what's going to happen with him. Obviously,
he'll go last day of the transfer window. Saying
last week.
Yeah. It'll probably be Real Madrid.
I'm kind of disappointed that he's not gone to Saudi, to be honest, because I wanted to see what the ramifications of that would have been.
The ramifications?
It's not a test subject. I'll just chuck him out and see what happens.
No, what I'm saying is...
The ripple effect. The guinea pig.
No, but seriously, that would have been seismic for football, right? So I would have loved to have seen, in theory, so... That would have opened, I think, the floodgates to a lot of other players to go
of course.
There. So but that's why, in a way, I'm kind of disappointed.
They're willing to drop $1 billion. I think that's a scary, scary thought. £1 billion for a year.
In 1 year.
And then they just let him walk away at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, go, and you can go to your... You know, I think he'll go last day. I'm a bit disappointed with their stance on Mbappe, though, because... look, I know that there's going to be arguments and stuff, but he signed a contract however long ago for so many years.
Last season, I think.
And he's entitled to see it out. If he wants to sit there and see it out, he's entitled to sit there and see it out. That's the gamble you take, yeah. And that's what you do when you're signing these players on deals. You know, a lot of footballers, they do get a lot of stick, and I give a lot of footballers stick for forcing moves or whatever like that. You know, especially when it's your club. But at the end of the day, when they're finished with them, they're happy to just go.
Yeah, it's true. It goes both ways. And they offer a massive loyalty bonus as well.
So if you've got a contract that runs for 5 years, at the end of that 5 years, he should be, happy enough. He's not there in the club. Well, you're worth 500 million quid. Sign an extra deal so we can get. It's not. That's not his problem.
Not his business. Yeah.
That's not his business. He signed the contract. He's got the money that they've agreed to pay him. Yeah. At the end of it, he should be allowed to just walk away. There should be none of this sort of shaming stuff. And
when you add a massive loyalty bonus in there, you're kind of setting yourself up to fail, because it's like, okay, I'm really going to stay now. You're going to pay me 40 million.
When they got him to sign that extension, they was offering him all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. The country.
What did they say? Like,
you could be director of football.
You could be part of parliament, the whole lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you'll get the sign. I was like, but once his time's done there, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't want to sign an extension, that's it.
He's within his rights.
Yeah, he's within his rights.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, unless PSG want to lose him for free, they've got to sell him. And I feel like last week at the window, Madrid, they're just waiting, aren't they, pretty much in the wings. I think personal terms have pretty much been agreed from the get-go, which is why he turned down the Saudi deal. But yeah, it's only
it's no secret that he wants to go there, isn't it? Madrid, so
he should have went there.
KM9. Get ready.
How do you see that dynamic working though with him up front? Because obviously we know Vinicius has been given the keys on the left wing, but people say, and constantly it's reported in previous years, that Mbappe wants to play left wing, and to get a striker like maybe a Lewandowski, etc. We saw at the World Cup he played left wing.
It will be interchangeable.
I reckon
good players will find a way to play together
wherever he wants to go.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at Vinny, Rodrigo, they're kind of excited, and they were even posting pictures with him the other day. So I think they'd be willing to kind of sacrifice their game to let him shine a little bit.
He's the poster boy of football.
Yeah.
Right now, he's the poster boy of football.
Wherever he wants to play,
he'll play.
It's like we look at Benzema now as like one of the greats, but he was sacrificing his game for years for
Rooney
Bale.
played right mid.
Bale was almost like second fiddle to Ronaldo. It's like everyone knows the hierarchies when the top dogs are playing together. Mbappe arrives, he's the head honcho.
Okay, absolutely. I like the sound of that because I do want to see him at Real Madrid. To be honest, I think that's I know you said to go Saudi, but I think for the Champions League, I think for the Champions League, Haaland versus Mbappe, Real Madrid versus City would be pretty impressive.
The collection of under 23s that Real Madrid have at the moment for the next decade is scary, man.
But we're used to Real Madrid dominating the European landscape. But the thing is, it doesn't really hit for me.
I actually felt like once the Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, Varane, Ronaldo, Benzema, Marcelo, I thought once this era finishes, we might get a few years of a bit. They're in the wilderness. Barcelona now, they're going through the wilderness and stuff.
Nope.
They just re-up like that before our faces as well. As many one season, Camavinga, Arda Güler this year, Bellingham this year. Now, before you know it, they've got the Avengers under 23 assembled.
Yeah, 100%. This super chat says Kane to Chelsea written all over, but I hope he comes to Man United. I guess you're talking about next summer. Spurs should accept that they are going to be a mid-table team.
I don't think Harry Kane will ever go to Chelsea.
I don't think so either. As much as I would love that, because again, we just had Poch come in. You get Kane next summer on a free, it would be the dream.
There's as much chance as coming to Arsenal.
It would be the dream. It's a nightmare for you. It's a dream for me. And it would bring spice to any derby as well.
I feel like that is, if he was to do one kind of weird move, that would be the one. Like, I don't think he'd ever go
No, he wouldn't.
No, Sol Campbell, man.
I don't know. Chelsea, he might just be like,
No, I don't think so.
You think so? You think it's possible?
No, I don't think so. There's too much rivalry there. He's a Spurs man.
True.
He's a Spurs
man. He has been there since.
And he's going to do it. He's going to do it respectively if he leaves.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's very conscious.
I hope so, man.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Absolutely.
But for football,
do not stay in London, bro.
For football, it would be beautiful.
It would not. It would not.
Yes, it would. The storyline. I want a billboard of Kane in London.
30 years old to
no, it doesn't make any sense.
Ruin your legacy.
Yeah,
true. You know what I mean? At a club that, if he goes on to Munich and retires, they're going to love him forever. He's got a job there forever. He goes to Chelsea, I think that's it, man.
Yeah.
I think that's ties cut.
What's Harry Kane?
At 30. At 23, you might say, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But at 30, no way.
But it all depends on, do you expect anybody and everybody to come in for him when he's available on a free, regardless of if the team needs a striker or not?
I think there will be a lot of offers. I think, and people will say now, I can't see so-and-so offering. And so I think on a free, everyone's coming to the table. And it's just a case of then who has the best offer. I think Man City and Man United will probably be the two front runners, I feel like. Depending on
Man City with Haaland?
No, I don't think.
Listen, they might just go, you know what, double up.
Double up.
Man United.
Play Kane where Alvarez is playing.
Listen,
bro, how would that even work,
bro?
I don't think so.
Listen, don't ask me. Ask Pep. You know he can make formations up in the blink of an eye. But
I think Man United would appear to be the forerunner.
I think depending on Højlund's performances, if he obviously has like a 11-12 league goal season, they might just think, you know what, just bring Kane in.
How prolific is he though?
Who, Højlund?
Yeah.
Well, he's got 9 league goals, so it's a gamble. I've always said this signing is a gamble, so it could go well. He might score 18, 19, and they're like, you know what, we don't need Kane, and then he might have to go.
The thing about Kane though, he's certified.
Yeah, it is.
You know what you're getting, 30 plus.
Yeah, and that you could actually play them together, I think, as well, like a Rooney, Van Persie kind of.
Do you know the one move I've always said I think would have worked well? Him replacing Firmino. But I've
Liverpool,
never in my life heard Liverpool being interested.
Because it's just
like,
I don't think
that makes sense.
They just don't go
now
for
with
that.
Darwin, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they just don't go for that price range.
Yeah, they want some bit more dynamic, bit more energetic up.
Kane is dynamic, B. Don't try to do my boy like that. This boy is dynamic.
Listen, he's a centre forward. He's not going to switch to the left wing.
Yeah.
You got Firmino, a little blind
pass. He's going to take a touch. Do you know what I'm saying? Like a normal guy. Turn, move, pass and move. West Ham expected to make an improved offer for Maguire to go in with another offer. I think the 20 million was rejected last month there. How do you feel about that, Nicky? Because Harry Maguire, the stocks could not be lower at this current moment. Yeah?
I would like him at West Ham, and I've said this for a long time. I think once the pressure's off of him, you've seen there's a player there, and he still does it for England. It's not like he's been to Leicester, he's living on a bit of a legacy. When he gets in that England shirt, he's phenomenal. Well, I say phenomenal. Good. He's good. No, but I'm just saying, his performances are a lot more consistent than they are with Manchester United. They're booing him the other night. He's playing a game. He makes a mistake. They're booing. What has that got to do for a guy? You know what I mean?
Surely he wants to cut his...
I think he's become the scapegoat. He became the scapegoat when Ronaldo was there. You know, and they've made him the scapegoat. And there's no way back for him at United now.
No.
Yeah, I agree. But does he? I mean, I was a little disappointed that he seemingly wants to stay.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Or is that just sound bites?
I think that might be just sound bites. You know what I mean? Because I think that's a sensible thing to say, because he could be forced to stay.
Yeah.
If no one comes in with a bid, he could be forced to be there.
Yeah.
What would be the point in mouthing off going, I hate it here, I hate these fans.
He'll say it later, I'm sure, in a doc.
Yeah, but alternatively, he could phrase it, and listen, he will articulate his own words, that I want to be playing. I'm in the prime of my career.
Yeah. I think he has said that.
Has he?
I think
the Euros is coming up next summer as well.
All I hear him saying, I want to fight for my place, which is not quite the same thing.
No, it's not. But it's a sensible thing to say.
I think if he's not playing consistently this season, I think David Moyes is a manager that will suit him as well. But if he's not playing consistently next season, I think Levi Cole will take his spot in the Euros. And if he doesn't, if Levi Cole is playing regularly, I think he'll take his spot.
I watched our pre-season game on Saturday, and we looked all over the shop in defence.
Okay.
I mean, all over the shop. And I think he would come in and solidify.
I think that'd be a good sign for him.
Yeah, I think it would be a good signing. A good signing.
Potentially an upgrade on Zuma then.
No, Zuma's a great player, but he's
I think play them together maybe.
Zuma, Maguire and Aguerd.
Yeah, they could go with
Aguerd. That's a good point.
They could go with a back three.
Aguerd's the best out of the lot of them. Yeah.
But I think David Moyes, staying with David Moyes, he would get the best out of him.
Do you think if your season is to go similar to last season, obviously the lack of transfer activity, Moyes last season, that Paqueta, Aguerd, these guys, it's becoming a point where maybe they might look to move on, or is it too early for that? If you was to have another struggling kind of relegation battle,
be looking to move on in the next year or two. I don't think there's, when you look at where we are, we'll have to see how it goes this season. But likelihood is after this season in Europe, we're not going to be there again. That's facts.
Unless you win the Europa League.
Unless we win the Europa League, yeah. And then he's going to be looking to go. There's no, I think that's the thing about West Ham, is that when they sold Rice, they needed to go out and make a statement and just go, look, we know we've sold him, but we didn't have a choice.
Yeah. But
this is what we're going to get to replace it. And they've just dilly-dallied around and tried this and tried that, and it looks like no. I think they've, that move, that marquee move should have been set up last year.
Yeah.
For when he leaves, you're going to come straight in.
Yeah.
And to show the fans. But I don't think they care. I don't think they care. I don't think the board cares because they're on their way out. I don't think the manager cares because he's on his way out. And it's a frightening time when no one cares.
Of course,
you're in big trouble. Yeah, free fall, exactly.
You also hold interest in McTominay as well. Would you take him?
Yes, I've said this several times.
You would take him. Yeah, you would take
another
him
player that I think suits. And then listen, I'm not trying to downgrade.
I agree with you.
But I do think that kind of guy, his energy, his physicality,
shoots Moyes as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's a good fit.
And
we said it before that some players fit certain clubs, and I think
I'm shocked because I've said this on a personal show on West Ham Fan TV, and the amount of people saying, "Oh, you're joking," and all that. I'm not joking. Why would I be joking? What do they think we're going to attract? You know, that is. I think he would be perfect for the level that we are.
That's right.
And he's still quite young. He's 26 years old. So.
Sometimes fans have to understand the identity of the club and what makes them.
Yeah,
who they
of
are.
course. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think sometimes fans.
Declan was a one-off. He come through our academy. He was, in my opinion, he's going to be. You know, he is, and he was with us, a world-class player that's going to play at the very top. We're not going to track that again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's got to come through your academy.
Yeah.
So you've got to stabilise and get a player that suits your system.
Yeah.
And we just can't. Honestly, I'm really worried.
Livramento as well has completed a move to Newcastle medical ahead of his move from Southampton. He's only 20. He come off a massive injury last season. It's
That's
an
interesting one.
Massive feat
he
for him
was
as well.
highly thought of, wasn't he? And then because of the injuries,
come
he
from our academy.
A lot of it is potential based on like that, which is why for me, I'm looking at this as like I think this is the first bit of business where I'm looking at Newcastle like, I think you've overpaid here because
they've been relegated
40 to 50 million. They've been relegated. He's coming off the back of a really big injury. I just don't feel like. And I don't think he's going to slot in as like a straight starter. Trippier's still there. You still got Dan Burn.
Yeah. I think almost. I feel like a season in the Championship might have done him good as well because his talent and potential is so high. Just to build up the minutes and the confidence to play with Southampton, or they're going to be pushing from promotion. To go to Newcastle and potentially not start. I mean, obviously they got more games this season, but Dan Burn had a good season. Trippier's
I must say, on Newcastle, I expected him to be a little bit more active in the transfer window. I know Harvey Barnes is a good signing.
Yeah,
I do rate him, but I kind of expected him to go out on a limb a bit more. Tonali's good, yeah, it's good.
I think they've been warned though about their transfer.
FFP,
yeah.
Oh, really?
And I also think that Eddie Howe is a naturally cautious manager in terms of signings, which is not always a bad thing.
No, it's good depth, and I'm sure they're not hurting for money anyway, so they won't complain about it. But I just think maybe.
I'm just looking at that club, thinking that, with the way they finished last season. There is going to be a weight of expectation this season to see if they can kick on.
Let's remember Isak, second half of last season, came back like a new signing as well.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people are saying, like, they're looking at Newcastle and they're going to go, I think they're going to fall off like a lot this year and all that. I don't think they will, man, because I think people like Isak are going to.
He's a
quality player. He reminds me of Henry.
I said that when do you remember that assist?
Was that the goal scorer?
Do you remember that assist that he got last season?
I believe that will come. Yeah,
the assist was ridiculous off the left wing, and he just went past all these players.
Gliding past,
nasty what he did.
But when Henry first went to Arsenal, he wasn't a natural goal scorer.
That's true.
He learned that as he went. You know.
No, I was impressed by
silky, good, close.
And I know they've lost St. Maxima, and he was like, on his day, unplayable, explosive, all the rest of it. But I think Harvey Barnes will give you a little bit more reliability.
And ASM. For sure.
I think so as well. I think Harvey Barnes, if you look at Isak, drops deep and kind of threads the ball through.
I think he complements
1v1 to put the ball in the back of net. You're going with Barnes.
I think the word to use is he complements that side in a very good way.
Yeah. I think if Livramento can stay fit, he will be people are saying, a successor to Trippier, which is obviously the plan. But when you've come off a massive injury, we had it with Fofana, you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. So that's where the risk is. And obviously your club, Tottenham, Fuad, have made a signing as well. Van der Ven, talk to me. What's happening on that left-hand side there? That defence, are you excited about him?
I think it's close to 50 million euros we spent on, including all the add-ons. Played for Wolfsburg, young player, fairly quick, they say. I haven't seen too much of him personally, but supposedly exciting prospect. And if he can come in and kind of adapt very quickly, I think there's going to be kind of big expectations. That's a position that, for the best part of since Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen were there, it's been a glaring hole. We've had Sanchez, we've had Dyer, we've had Davis, we've had Langley, we've had so many casualties that we need someone to come in and actually be a presence in that. That's why all summer I've been kind of saying I kind of would prefer someone else, because I feel like we need someone who's more capable and ready rather than a project and kind of hope that they can kind of fill in this position. So it's a big fee now. So I'm hoping that he kind of proves to be worth the money. But him and Romero seem like the starting pair this year. I think Andrew's gone back to a back four.
Back four, yeah.
So
you just know behind that, there's not much to come off the bench.
The thing is now you've got a new keeper behind that as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I always say that's almost like a unit there. I need to see how he adapts with that back four as well now.
Yeah.
The fullbacks are adapting from being
wing backs
to fullbacks. Yeah. You've got Romero who needs to all of a sudden calm down and be the experienced head amongst that.
Do you think that can happen?
So I can't lie to you, every piece in there
is a question.
Excites me. But as you said, there's a gamble there as well.
Yeah.
Can Porro really become a right back? Can Destiny adapt straight away?
Yeah.
I must say, you're the first Spurs fan I've heard use that word excited. Most,
do you know what
most were using the word trepidation.
It's the unknown, isn't it?
I've said this season, our excitement is going to come from the lack of pressure. We don't have any real expectations this year. We're not in Europe this year. Nobody's really expecting us to compete for the domestic cups.
Are you encouraged by Big Ange?
So pre-season, what he's been saying and the football I've been seeing, even though it's against much lesser opposition and maybe not the starting lineup, I've been impressed with what I've been seeing. And also within where the reporters afterwards are like, oh yeah, you played really well. He's like, Nope. Still a lot of work to do. And I love that. And I'm like, this is a guy who's not resting on his laurel. He knows there's so much work to do. So for me, I've said this season is just about building culture, building a playing style, and getting a lot of these kind of youngsters.
He might be that stabilising force that you need after
exactly
the disruption of previous years.
I said we need to, as a manager, when we were going for managers, we need to stop going for the big names.
Yeah. Somebody actually wants to be there.
Someone, not
with
just someone who wants to be there, but someone who's kind of a little bit of an unknown, similar like Pochettino, and gets the opportunity to really build from the ground up. And I feel like with a lot of these players, the Romeros, the Bentancur, Kulusevski, Porro, Destiny, you've potentially got the next era after Kane. Can you be the guy to kind of
you know what I like about the Postecoglou, is it?
Yeah.
Situation is that here is a man who's he's done well, but he's by no means proven himself at this level. Yeah. So there's going to be an inner desire there.
Yeah.
And I think his choice of players and the way they play will reflect that.
Yeah.
He will want people that...
He's got that dog about him for sure.
There's more balance here in this relationship. It's like Tottenham need to give and
whereas
him,
my
man also needs to give to Tottenham.
I think the fans will be a little bit more patient as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think my man, he was on
Conte was just extracting, taking.
Conte was on a diva mission.
Listen, when you get big managers like that, right?
That's exactly what it is.
They've earned the right to throw their weight around like that, and we should be kind of buying into them, if you like.
Yeah.
It just didn't work, and that's not really the formula that's ever going to
so
work
what
for us.
They've done is they've gone for a new model. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. The last bit of news as well is that Pep Guardiola will go to Brighton for attacker Matoma next after City have obviously sealed the deal for Vardy. You feel sorry for Brighton? Do you see how much money they're raking in? I don't feel sorry for Brighton. So are you crazy?
It's about the money though, man.
Huh?
It's not about the money.
Yeah, they're man just raiding their players.
Their squad still looks good. They're recruiting some really good players. Yeah, Kudus is coming in.
I'll tell you what about Brighton, and I did get this wrong in here. I was convinced that De Zerbi was going to be out of there.
I told you.
But he wants stability because he's been moving clubs every single season. So now he's like, actually, no more. I want to stay and stick.
I kept saying last year when he was doing so well and he kept flirting with the Inter Milans, the AC Milans, I was like, bro, you are a serial club hopper.
Yep.
You have a good thing going here. You have a club that's built the right way. You've got a squad full of young talent that you can imprint yourself upon. You've got European football for the first time next year. Go and take the challenge. See how far you can take the squad. Make it.
You could win something. They were in a semi-final of the FA Cup there.
People were saying, it was part of the squad. Let's not forget when he took over last year for the first 3-4 months, and then it was like, nah, this guy's taking up another level. Yeah. So now really make it your own. And the fact that he's having all these kind of turnovers, you brought Joao Pedro and you're going to bring Kudus in, Dahoud in. Yeah. Now it's starting to look even a little bit different from what it was last year. So listen, I'm glad he's staying. I'm glad he's staying.
He's promoted still from Sanchez. That was a big decision to do as well, and it paid off because he's been playing really well up from the back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Brighton. I don't know what the expectation is for them next season. Obviously they've got more games. Do you guys think that they could make a run for the Europa League? Yeah. It's tough to see anyone playing much better.
That will depend on how many of their players can they retain. I mean, for example, Caicedo, are you getting him or not?
I think we will. It's meant to be Caicedo week. It should be Caicedo week.
If you get him, see, the likes of them getting that, or European football the year after, is decidedly lessened, in my view.
But they're very good at replacing their players. Their scouting network is ridiculous. So, you know, they don't stand still. They've got a very good team behind them.
They've shown that.
I don't think they'll let him go.
Do you don't think so?
No, I don't think they'll let him go. And I think
even if a £100 million bid comes in?
100 million, they might. But I don't think they're going to let him go unless they're confident that they've got someone to replace him.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, because they've lost McAllister.
But surely they would have been prepping. This is my thing with Brighton. Surely they would have been prepping to replace him, because at the end of last season they were saying that
they probably.
De Zerbi was saying publicly he's expecting McAllister and Caicedo to leave.
Probably have.
He's still saying that.
But you know, if the thing is with Brighton, if they've left it to this late in the window, then unless there's something ready to go, if that happens, I can't see them.
You know what? Rather than nicking their players, what they need to do is nick their recruitment stuff.
Take Bloom. Yeah, 100%.
Just have a little spy on what they're spying at.
You get in trouble for doing that. Liverpool know that with City. You're not allowed to spy. I'm telling you that. You get in big trouble. Well, listen, that's everything that we've gone through there in terms of the roundup. We're still waiting on those big deals. We know what the window's like. When it gets to the last week, everybody just starts messing around. But the final question I want to ask you guys before we wrap up is, would you prefer to have the window closed before the season starts? Like literally before the season starts, everybody's squad's locked in like FPL.
I think that's a little bit unfair, because you can get massive injuries in the first week of the season, and I think season defining injuries, and I think a couple of weeks is fair.
Yeah, I always think that those early week teething periods, sometimes you think, some clubs think, for example, we don't need a striker, we can just carry on. And in the first 3 games, will kind of show you, no, do you know what? We need to get one now. Yeah. So I always think those first 2-3 weeks, I love having it within the window. I remember there was one year they actually did it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They shut it.
And I felt like every club didn't benefit from it. You almost saw straight away the impact of it. So, for me, there's no benefit to it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Keep it,
Even though your players could get destabilised late in the window during the football was being played.
I'd rather the game left completely.
No window.
Let them, like they used to, just let them sign throughout the season.
Really? Any time you just...
Yeah, why not?
You know what, Nicky? I've heard a few people say that.
I think it causes too much panic, and I think I think that's these windows are contributing to the inflated prices. Because if it's open at any time...
So the window just open all the time, any
that's
time.
How it used to be.
And the player can leave at any moment during the season.
Yeah. They close it. They close it about...
I don't know about that.
That's a bit reckless.
Before the season ended.
That's reckless, I feel. Because
it would give rise to just
anything
tumultuous.
You wouldn't even know how your season's even going to go.
But, it would cause less panic.
But I would say, Nicky, I've heard a few people say that. Why not just have a fluid window where you can just bid at any time?
Why not? They used to do it.
Yeah, they used to.
It wasn't that long ago.
Really?
The Premier League era, it was a fluid window.
I wouldn't be able to take that.
We signed John Hart
mentally and emotionally.
I think we was in a relegation scrap. 95
because the players were
97, something like that, and we went and bought John Hartson and Paul Kitson in March, and that is the thing that saved us.
I just don't know how the players would be able to focus on their football if there was just constantly rumours going on all the time. Even as a content creator, I would just get annoyed.
Yeah, I do like having the windows. I think what they should do is maybe you're allowed, what they do in France, they call it the Joker window, where throughout the closed window period, you're allowed to make one signing, and it can only be done domestically. So you can't sign a player from abroad, you can only sign it from within the Premier League. So if you do get a big season-changing injury, I think that one transfer, I can hear that. But having a fluid open one, it's too much chaos.
These boys are too young.
With so much money.
They're too young, though. They don't remember them.
I think with so much money in the game, though, he does make a point. Can you imagine every week there'd be speculation this way and that way? It'd just be chaos.
Some breaking news, Ornstein with the Bumba. He says Tottenham have rejected the latest offer for Harry Kane after proposal in June and July turned down 25 million short of the valuation. So I'm guessing 85 million offer. I don't know if they've bid that before.
It's been the same.
It's always been the same. Talks
they
last
just
week.
Keep adding on add-ons.
Led to improved bid. So we'll see. That's been knocked back as well. So Tottenham standing firm. Levy, playing hardball as always. But we'll see if this comes to some sort of conclusion
at some
this
point.
Week.
This playing hardball can be at the detriment
of your...
It will.
I think it will be, because if you're going to sell him, you need to sell him this week and replace. You can't really be wasting any more time. But listen, it's been a great show. Thank you to everybody on the panel for joining. It's been a great convo, and I'm looking forward to the panic and the chaos as the window comes to an end. It's going to be funny, that's for sure. Guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you guys. The Premier League weekend is going to be kicking off on Friday. Burnley versus Man City. Looking forward to the football being back. We had a little bit of a trailer taster over the weekend. The plate has been lifted.
Already.
See you soon, guys.
See, you ain't even started yet in one of them.